It turns out that there are 3 or more fiends, so you gotta do the same sort of bullshit to kill them. Go to Crescent Lake and meet the Circle of Sages, 12 old guys who stand around in the forest, one of whom has a canoe in his pocket, and freely gives it to you. These are some weird guys, so I'm leaving right now. You flee as fast as you can on that canoe down to Mount Gulug, a volcano, with only mildly hot lava. This dungeon kills you only a little slower than the Marsh Cave does, but it's just as bad. Quick, which elemental fiend would you fight here? That's right, the Fire Fiend! You kill the easy-ass Fire Fiend Marilith. Or Carrie, I don't know what the hell that is. Look at her. 4 arms, snake body, 4 swords, shoots fire. She's easy as hell. 2 crystals down. Wow, this game is short. So, you take the boat to the ice caverns. Sorry, I'm just so interested in this. You get the Levy Stone that the dwarves talked about after killing another easy as hell boss. Go to the Southwest Desert. Get the airship that's been buried under the desert for some reason. You already got the airship? Anyway. And then fly to the Citadel of Trials. The very, very lonely guy over here tells you that if you get the ultimate treasure, the King of the Dragons will give you a gift. And the ultimate treasure is a rat's tail. What a gift from the gods! So the Citadel of Trials includes warp zone mazes that can confuse only the stupidest deaf, blind, and dumb people. Some bosses that can be killed by blinking. And... oh wait, that's it. It's about now that the game gets easy. You're always finding Gil everywhere. We'll use all this stuff in these dungeons anyway. You also have absolute access to all the spells in the game, so you can buy everything you need. And if you're at level 20 or so, you've basically won the game, because you can easily defeat any of the other bosses, which sucks. It was just that it was such a bitch to get to this point. So you go to Bahamuto's islands, given the rare treasure of a rat's tail, and while he upgrades your jobs to classes that aren't too different than the ones you have, I've lost all respect for the King of the Dragons. Okay, fly to Gaia. And you know what? The NPCs are worthless in this game. One of the things that made Final Fantasy VII good was that all the NPCs reacted to world events. You wanted to go everywhere just to see what they'd say. But in this game, they're all like, hey, there's a cave in the north, and I'm a farmer! This guy has such a pathetic life that he can't wait to point out to strangers that there's a cave somewhere. Anyway, an old guy tells you need the Oxy Ale to breathe in the underwater temple, or sunken shrine, depending on which version you're playing. Get it? Oxy Ale? Oxygen? And inhale? Sorry, I have to have some fun in this game. To get the Oxy Ale, we have to save someone. Again! It's a fairy this time.
Hey, listen! Hey, listen! Hey, listen!
Shut the hell up! So now our 4 glorious heroes are rescuing a fairy. Why haven't I turned this game off yet? The kidnappers are in some desert caravans, so find it, and buy the fairy back for 50,000 gil! God damn it, I gotta find all that money, I hate this! Okay, get the money, buy the fairy, go back to Gaia, chase the fairy since it runs away from you, catch it, and then get the Oxy Ale. Now we're gonna finish this goddamn game off. You go to the water cave, get the warp cube, go to Onrak, talk to a mermaid, and she'll beg you to save them all. And unless I'm getting a reward, fuck you. But of course you have no choice, so the mermaids cram you into a barrel and kick you down into the underwater temple. In there you'll find the Kraken. The Kraken is supposed to be the sea's most unstoppable beast. The prick even taunts you before you fight him. And yet, it's easy as hell. 3 crystals down. Okay, so you'll explore this temple. You never actually rescue any of the mermaids. You pick up the Rosetta Stone. And if you're that bored, you can chuckle slightly at the stupid Splash reference ending. If you played this game, you know there's one thing for goddamn sure. You gotta be insane if you're gonna try to get to level 99 in this game, because it will take you years. You'll also be making an inordinate amount of Terminator jokes to yourself just to stay awake.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Okay, go back to Melmon to meet Dr. Un. He needs the Rosetta Stone to learn the vampire language and teach us to us so we can stop the vampires. You know, that program isn't as good as they say it is. You never go far enough in the language to engage in any conversation, so any diplomacy we'll have with the vampires won't go so well. And who the hell is diplomatic with vampires? Maybe if we kill them, this game would get good. Anyway, learn the language in 1 second by pressing A. Damn, I wish Japanese class was that easy. Go to Lafinia, get a chime, and save Melmon. Then go to Mirage Tower, and use the Warp Cube to get to the Flying Fortress. The Flying Fortress is my favorite part of the game. I don't know why though, I don't even like this game. In the Flying Fortress, find the Adamantite, and fight Timiat, the first slightly hard boss. Oh wait, forget it. 4 crystals down. Is the game over yet? No? Damn. Go to the Dwarf's Caves, give the blacksmith named Smith. Oh god. the adamantite, and get the ultimate weapon Excalibur. Now you can go to the final dungeon. If you're playing the Game Boy version, Dawn of Souls, not only are you playing a much easier game because the game lets you save everywhere, at this point you can go and fight a bunch of super bosses they add in one of those pointless and uninspired multi-level dungeons. I generally hate it when they put these huge and empty multi-level dungeons in these games, especially when they're remaking it, because it just adds nothing to the plot, and it just shows laziness. I mean, how easy is it to make the same floor over and over and over and over again, and just put one boss in there that you've taken from other games? I mean, look at them. The bosses are just stolen mainly from Final Fantasy VI. They even got Ultros and the Phantom Train in there. I mean, it's like they don't even care that these characters were from different games, and they just pulled it in there, and it just ruins them both. The last boss you fight is from Final Fantasy V, you know, Shinru. The huge monster. But he's pretty easy. You know. Unless these dungeons are done right, they just waste hours and hours of your time. But in this game, you know, since these bosses are actually hard, it's like the only real good challenge you get in this game, and the only time you actually feel like you've achieved something. So, play it if you want. Personally, I'm just going to skip it because I want to get this over with. The Circle of Sages tells you have to go back in time through the Chaos Shrine 2,000 years because a great evil has returned to the past and made a time loop. To travel back in time, you have to re-enter the impenetrable Chaos Shrine. So go there, touch the crystal ball, and go back in time. There's a Gauntlet of Bosses not worth mentioning. You kill the 4 fiends again by using the loot to access them. Wait, a loot? Oh my god. You know, the game, as usual, doesn't even give you a clue to this. Plus, it makes no goddamn sense. Alright, you kill the 4 fiends, you enter the Inner Sanctum, and the final boss is... Garland? That piece of crap from the beginning? And he went back in time through a time loop so he could live forever? Wait a minute. So Garland wants to continuously go back in time every 2,000 years so he can live forever and possibly rule the world? Well, that makes no goddamn sense. First of all, a stiff breeze can kill this guy, so the world is in absolutely no danger. Look how scared of me he is. Every time I talk to him, he keeps backing up. Second, he'd only be able to live that 2,000 years over and over again. Not only is that not living forever, but the same shit over and over and over again would get pretty damn boring after a while. Say he spends that time taking over the world. Then he'd have to go back in time at the end of the 2,000 years and start all over again. Over and over. For eternity. Isn't that just like Sisyphus pushing the rock up a hill? Third, there's no real reason why Garland should live for 2,000 years to even get to the end of the loop. All he ever says is, I shall live forever, and you shall meet your doom! Guess what, dude? That ain't gonna happen. Fourth, the 4 fiends sent him back to the past. Obviously before I killed him in the present, because if they didn't, he couldn't be here. Then he sent the 4 fiends to the future, so that the fiends could send him back to the past. A, why would the fiends waste their time on this guy? B, Garland would have to send the fiends back to a future where the Light Warriors couldn't kill them, for his plan to work. But apparently, since we don't fight them again after Garland, this guy was too stupid to realize that, and all he did was ensure his doom. C, the fiend seems to be here right now, so he obviously didn't send them yet. So apparently, this is either a poor translation of Garland, which it isn't, or he's even stupider than we thought. I'm picking the latter. Fifth, he says he'll be forgotten after 2,000 years, hence allowing his plan to succeed. So if your plan is to be forgotten, not only will the fiends forget, but if all you wanted to do is be forgotten, then what the hell's the point of any of this? And most importantly, I just killed the fiends in the past and the present, so they can't send them back! Garland is a goddamn fool, and for that, we gotta kick his ass. But if we ignore how stupid and banal Garland's motivations are, we can see the scene for what it really is. The very first instance of the epic twist that is absolutely mandatory in every Final Fantasy game. And it sucks. In Final Fantasy IV, Gold Bees turned out to be Cecil's brother, and Cecil was born on the moon. Holy shit! And everyone that died is actually still alive. Yeah, that's stupid. In Final Fantasy V, Geoff was actually fighting Exdeath, and he came to Earth from another planet to protect the crystal. Eh. Oh yeah, and Exdeath was a tree. In Final Fantasy VI, Terra turned out to be half Esper. Well, that's one of the few good epic twists. In Final Fantasy VII, Cloud wasn't from Soldier, but he did kill Sephiroth in the Nibelheim reactor. And it turns out that Aerith saved the world after all. Holy shit! In Final Fantasy VIII, Renoa is a sorceress. Ultimisha was there the whole time with Ida. And all the main characters grew up in the same orphanage, only they forgot. And Laguna is Squall's father, Alone is his sister, and if you think about it, Renoa could have been his sister too in a parallel dimension. That one could have been better. In Final Fantasy IX, Zidane is a clone, he has a sister, Kuja is his brother, and they were both sent by Garland to destroy the world. But since Garland didn't know how to make clones, he can't control any of them, and he gets killed for it. Garland is fucking stupid. In Final Fantasy X,
It is. Sin is checked.
holy shit! Yuna has to die to kill Sin. Holy shit! The whole religion of Yu Yevon is a fraud to maintain the cycle of death in Spira. Holy shit! Orin is actually dead because he tried to fight Yunalesca to stop the cycle. Holy shit! And Titus doesn't actually exist, and he has to disappear once Sin dies. Holy freaking shit! And the next two... What the fuck happened in X2?